Ysera in Penhydani's hand. What? And there's also a Ysera. And look, what is this?
It's Ysera off.
What is going on today?
So, for those who haven't seen Big Druid, because it's only been around for 2 or 3 weeks, if you've been on holiday or something, can you tell us about how it works, what it does?
There's a lot of big cards. It
Right.
has Giant Anaconda, sometimes Bright-Eyed Scout, depending on which version of the deck you're running. Bright-Eyed Scout means that you draw a card and it becomes a 5-mana card, so your 10-mana cards, if you manage to draw one of those, becomes a 5-mana one.
Right.
Backfires if you draw an Innovate. That's a bit of a problem. Giant Anaconda, Death Rattle. It's a 7-mana minion, but it has the Death Rattle when it dies. Summon a minion that has 5 or more attack from your hand, so you can use that to bring out your Ysuraj, your Deathwing, etc. I'm also very curious about the Ysera in the Paladin hand. Ysera, we seem to have this meta right now where Ysera is difficult to deal with. Not that many of the classes or specific decks have the hard removal that deals 12 damage. So Control Paladin have just sometimes started slipping a copy in.
There's also this ongoing search for a big card after Tyrion in Paladin. People playing Elixir, people playing Deathwing. Maybe they just want to try the Ysera, and that's like such a good card, advantage card.
Yes, that is an Iron Beak Owl sitting in Penhydani's hand. It's used in Big Druid.
And Big Druid far more sensible than Big Priest, right?
Yeah, more regular.
Right. Us Karka and Zigzo sort of creation. This
is a deck I've actually heard of, yeah.
This is a deck I've actually heard of. Casters 2017.
Infested Tauren, though, for Loxodontus, this is looking like a very greedy Paladin deck if it's running N'Zoth and Ysera.
Yeah, that might mean it's going to get into some trouble, because how many times can you equality away all this nonsense? Like, the Druid's going to get all the time it needs to get into these big minions, and the Paladin isn't that good at removing stuff. It's just good enough at removing little guys early that it wins with its lack of win conditions, usually.
Yeah, this really is going to be battle of the big minions come the end of this game. This is like a lot of people's dream coming into Hearthstone. I want to see these big legendary minions, going at each other, see which one stands tall at the end. Well, this is going to be one of those games.
Yep, Yogg already proved that it is better than Deathwing.
Yep.
A life or death battle, backed up by a noble sacrifice from one of his little friends. But this is the draw that the Druid wants. It doesn't look that good, but what's going to happen is Penhydani is going to just ramp some more. And as he's doing that, because you can see already the Nourish, the Innovate, the Coin, all that stuff's going to help him, he will draw into more big stuff. Again, I say about Druid so often, you have to trust your deck. Those cards are in there, they will come out, you've got 4 or 5 turns to draw some stuff, and then he'll get a pretty exciting board.
There's Giant Anaconda that I referenced earlier. In fact, Penhydani could consider Coin innovating that out now, then when it dies, Deathwing pops out.
It does, but you have to be a little bit careful about equality and just a straight trade. On the other hand, if they equality straight trades, you've cleared their board, you've got rid of one of the equalities, and then you can just nourish and restart everything. So it's definitely worthy of consideration.
It depends how important Penhydani thinks that the Deathwing is for actually clearing the board. Maybe he wants to hold it back and use it as a panic button later. He's hovering over that coin, but is this a coin Nourish or a coin Innovate Anaconda?
Yeah, I think Deathwing is mainly played in this deck as a 12/12 dragon.
All right, let's do it.
It comes back to life when other Deathwing leaves. The whole deck is about cheating things into play, and this is a way of cheating things into play, so why not?
Big smile from Loxodontus. He probably fully expected this before, but here we go.
Yeah, one of the Brazilian players now needs to be on the case for the next 2 matches. They need to be saying, what are the likely meme decks that are the other 4 that Hungary are going to have brought?
Now here's a fun interaction. Loxodontus just picked up an Outdoor Peacekeeper, so he can trade into the Giant Anaconda and then Outdoor Peacekeeper down the Deathwing. But there's an Iron Beak Owl in Hungary's hand. So Outdoor Peacekeeper would set the Deathwing's health to 1, then Iron Beak Owl would revert it back to 12 again.
Yeah, that's actually quite ridiculous. Obviously, Brazil taking the other line. This is what people do to igneous elementals more commonly, which is you can't kill yourself. And if it can't kill itself, you're just stuck with this.
Yeah. Your minion has an annoying death rattle. Your minion has an annoying death rattle. I'm just going to put weak taunts in the way so that it has no way of suiciding. And
I don't think there's many worlds where Penhydani doesn't just go, you know what, we're having some fun today, let's play Barnes. Nourish for mana is probably the real play.
I don't know. His card draw is looking a little bit lacking. Then again, he also doesn't want to draw too many cards, because if he draws some of the weaker minions that have more than 5 attack, the Giant Anaconda won't get such.
And you're right, he's just going to go for more cards.
That worked out.
Picks up the Innovate that he was hoping for in there.
It's a good job he did, because there's some really low-value cards that he drew, and if he had to draw those cards over the course of the next 3 turns, it would have been very, very slow from him.
He is going to be able to control the board, and the good thing with that means that this Anaconda becomes much more menacing where there's nothing else on the other side, because then the Equality is going to have to be paired with a Pyromancer or a Consecration to clear the board. And if you start making your opponents do 2-card combos to clear, you use up their entire turn, and then you just plop something else down, assuming that something else turns up, which it should.
Now Loxodontus. Pompous Thespian plus Adult Peacekeeper is the only real curvy play that he's got. I doubt he wants to waste Stampeding Kodo. Maybe now he trades in and then plays Adult Peacekeeper on the Deathwing.
Yeah, it's got to be tempting for him. People will know about the Iron Beak Owl in the deck, but it still looks like a very tempting play, to be fair. Plus, if you're making, I keep on about mana efficiency, but if you're making your opponent spend 3 mana on an Iron Beak Owl, to hit you for 12, sure, that's not fun, but you've still got the get out of jail card of...
It's the reason that in many decks, Spellbreaker is just more commonly used, because its mana cost versus its stats is just better for the card. However, Iron Beak Owl is a beast, which means the Curator draws it, and that's the main draw to it in this deck.
So there's 2 reasons why they don't want to kill this. First of all, if you're the ones that kill the Anaconda, you give the minion Wind Fury that comes out. Not Wind Fury, but you just give it charge. Sorry. Secondly, you have that Stampeding Kodo in your hand, and the Iron Beak Owl can't get around 8 mana Peacekeeper Kodo.
Right.
You kill it before the owl has the chance. So making your opponents kill it off, take away that charge effect, is definitely worth doing here.
Second Nourish pickup. So Penhadani is going to be good to go for a long time now. He's at the point where he's going to want to summon the Deathwing without having to use its effects, because he doesn't want to discard this rather large hand. Don't think he ever will want to discard this hand. I really don't mind the Barnes here. Barnes into Yeshuraj, go.
In fact. Yeah, Barnes seems good. I like your optimism, Dan. I'm just going to go.
No, that's what would happen if I played it.
Yeah, if I played it, just go Barnes into
a second Iron Beak Owl that you didn't even put in your deck or something.
It would just come out with something bad. All right, he's going to try and draw a card first. Yashuraj. Okay.
What a weird stalemate that we've got here with the giant Anaconda not wanting to attack and Loxodontus not wanting to attack it. Feel as though Loxodontus is winning this exchange. But the attack comes through, Deathwing comes out, another big smile from Loxodontus as we witness the new animation, which isn't so new anymore.
Interesting they dug through their deck first, trying to find something different that implies they wanted to keep this back, because if they could find the other Deathwing, then even if that got killed, this one would then replace it.
Oh, okay. Outer Peacekeeper did its thing.
Yeah, rules are being followed, but not for long, because the owls are not what they seem. He's going to turn this back into a 12-12.
What secret was that from? Was that just a noble sacrifice?
I'm going to go with wasn't paying attention, no idea.
It was a repentance, actually.
I'll take your word for it.
So, if the repentance hits the Iron Beak Owl, that's no problem at all. I guess he's playing it to play around something like a Primordial Drake this turn. Trading in the 3-3 and then playing Primordial Drake would be pretty good if Penhadani had it. Repentance would then drop the Drake down to 1 health. But no Drake, so...
Right, they're going to want this Deathwing to hit for 12, so testing for stuff first.
So, does he have to play around Die for an Eye now?
It's only 12, what could go wrong? Yeah, he's asking that same question.
I guess you can just Earthen Scales, though, back up, twice, actually.
You could swipe. Swipe kills a couple of minions off, and the 1 damage will do face.
Yeah, that's way better. So swipe the 3-3 and then silence.
If you wanted to test for Eye for an Eye, that's how I think you'd do it.
Gonna do it. Now he knows beyond all doubt that it's repentance. Oh, I did expect the silence.
Yeah, he gets to use the mana though and clear everything up ready for next turn. Your opponent shouldn't want to equality this board.
That's the Bread-Eyed Scout. Not what you want to get from Barnes.
No, that's what I always get though. Such a baby rage when it comes to the cards.
Second equality. Okay, so Penhadani's going to want Brazil to hurry up and use one now. This is a board of nothing. Equality's just not worth it, though.
Right, you're not going to lose to this army. You're just not going to lose to these guys. I mean, you might because the owl, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
and it might just be a good time to develop a cairn.
Though, as you said earlier, they will expect there to be an Iron Beak Owl in the deck somewhere. So it's something they'll always play around.
It is. They can afford 12 as well. Given that your opponent has to Iron Beak out of it, then you can equality consecrate, get rid of the owl as well. I think we might just see this is a good time to play the cairn.
It's weird how the main effect that Iron Beak Owl has had this game has been specifically for resetting a minion's attack back to what it should be. We talked about Iron Beak Owl with Barnes. If it was played on the Bright-Eyed Scout, it would turn it back into a 3-4. And now, yeah, if the Iron Beak Owl is played on the 110 Deathwing, it would become a 12-10.
Move quickly.
It's all, frankly, quite ridiculous.
It would silence away the Aldor Peacekeeper effect.
All right, got to do something, Loxodontes. We saw what happened when you left it too late before. Things started going wrong. Just do something.
You just can. Seems like a pretty...
Yeah, cairn just makes most sense, right? If in doubt, just develop a board. That's never a terrible thing to do.
Speaking of can, Penadani has a potential 16 damage on board now. Plus 17 with the hero power. No, not quite anywhere near getting that lethal.
Yeah, just not really close at the moment.
Plus 2 Earthen Scales, 18, 19, so 10 off.
I think cairn of their own looks pretty good.
Doesn't look bad at all. It plays around the equality a little bit.
Going to Nourish, because next turn is 10 mana turn. Bright-Eyed Scout. It's double Giant Anaconda, that's not always in.
No, it's not. What are we innovating out, Can? Okay.
It's funny, no matter how good the meta, when you get towards the end of a meta, people get bored and start doing silly things. Yeah, not saying they're doing that because of this, but I mean, this deck was invented because people got bored.
Well, hey, it's worked for us, Kaka. It's been working for Zig, so let's see if it works out for Penhadani. The Big Priest did not work out for Chaincaller.
I don't think Big Priest was ever going to work out for anybody, to be fair. Apart from someone who can get Barnes regularly on turn 4.
The synergies were there, like you can see them.
Yeah, if you go Barnes into Yashiraj into Deathwing, you win the game.
Right.
Because, yeah. You just do.
Or Barnes into Deathwing Dragonlord even, if you've got a Deathwing in hand, that can work out.
Sure.
Barnes into regular Deathwing into Silence or Purify, that can work out too.
I don't know how you sleep at night with nightmares like this going through your head.
Speaking of Deathwing Dragonlord,
Yeah,
doesn't Penhadani wish he played the Bright-Eyed Scout last turn? Then again, Giant Anaconda seems just fine here.
Again, this is where they're hitting the part of the game where they're just getting so many options and going to try and keep that hand size up. They've got to work out themselves how they're going to beat N'Zoth if it gets played. But there's not a whole lot going on right from the N'Zoth. We've seen one Tauren, we've seen one Cairn. Notice
how this Iron Beak Owl always has so many targets. Like, Penhadani could target the Cairn right now. Is that the right play? I don't think so. If he's going to silence the Death Rattle, he's probably going to want to silence the Tyrion later.
I feel that they will know by now that the first board they create is going to get cleared by equality.
Yeah.
I think that equality on the left-hand side has sat there for a long time. The only other card that could be was Tyrion or N'Zoth. But it favours equality. It's what you'd expect it to be.
Time waits for no one.
Okay.
Earthen Scales. I think they're just going to start delivering to the face. They're not. They're just going to keep killing stuff.
Well, healthy mix of both. Hero Power going to get rid of the 1-1, and then Barnes going to smack the face. Okay. Now, the reason that this is difficult for Brazil is what Penhadani has done is he's set up so that Equality Consecration isn't quite good enough. Equality, okay, trade into one of the Death Rattles, then Equality Consecrate clears all but one minion. At the very least, Bane Bloodhoof will survive this next turn.
Sure. And that's not much fun, but you can stodge up the board for a while your Spite Ridge Steed. This Spite Ridge Steed is going to get worse as the game goes on because the big druid's going to have bigger stuff.
The big druid just gets bigger.
Yeah, basically. So the Spite Ridge Steed might actually not be too bad right now, just to slow this down.
Okay.
That makes sense to me, big time.
Now this is just going to be the best Iron Beak Owl, I think. I know I've been saying there's a lot of different targets, a lot of different ways you can use this card. However,
I'm a lot happier about that Owl plane now the Curator's here.
Yeah, I mean, getting rid of the Cairn's both of the Cairn's Death Rattles, the Summon the Stegodon and the Summon the Bane, getting rid of the buff, getting rid of the Taunt, it does so many things right now.
Yeah, Curator getting rid of that Cairn and also just setting up a board that if they Equality Consecrate, really? We don't care.
Yeah.
we being hungry on this situation.
See what's actually left for the creator to draw. There's that Ysera we saw earlier, and only the Ysera. No more beasts. No Murlocs. No surprise there.
Yeah, obviously not trading into the cairn because the curator's blocking the way and just playing around equality effects.
Yeah, Equality Consecrate still isn't any good. In fact, the taunt makes it even harder for Loxodontis to make use of that. If he Equality Consecrates, he has to... He can't, like, Equality... Well, I guess he's got the 1/1 on the board, so he could Equality trade that in, trade in the cairn, and then Consecrate, but still leaving things alive.
Yeah, just not much fun, and they've got to start dealing with stuff. Ragnaros just doesn't deal with the board presence, and it's the board presence that's threatening to kill them. And in fairness, this has been done with fairly regular cards, apart from 1/12/12 that got outdoored.
Yeah.
Like, nothing massive has been hitting Brazil in the face. Just the ramp, the extra ramp, the extra mana available to Hungary is the thing that's carrying this game at the moment. And the time that N'Zoth Paladin gives you to do anything. If you've got a deck that needs to set stuff up, N'Zoth Paladin is the deck you want to play against.
Okay, Equality. And a Consecration straight away. Okay. Jathrin Dragonlord's going to come out. When that dies, Ysera comes out.
Yeah, this is why there aren't many huge minions.
Oh, it's happening! Second Equality gets used. But Ysera is not going anywhere now. That's here to stay.
It is, but next turn is going to be N'Zoth into Tauren into Bring Back Cairn. It's not a total disaster. Moonglade Portal still somehow survives in this deck. It's a really good card in the deck. You've got plenty of targets to heal, including your own face, but all your big minions are quite happy to be healed as well.
It's funny that it still makes the cut when Earthen Scales is such a strong healing card.
It is just because it heals the minions.
Yeah, yeah.
Keeping a 4/12 alive, you hit it for 6 or 7, heal it back up. It's like, oh, why won't you die?
So, Penadani's seen both the qualities now. I don't mind going all in here, playing the Brooded Scout, playing the Moonglade Portal as well. Primordial Drake probably isn't that good here. Seems better after N'Zoth gets played, but Brazil going to go for it. Hungary going to go for it.
Yeah, it's setting up lethals through various other stuff. Like, your opponents have got no equalities left, and you're really putting a massive strain on their health total right now.
Penadani looks so happy. The concede went through. Loxodontis has lost his second game today, and Penadani gets the win with Big Druid. Easy.
Well, nothing silly is going to happen in the next game because Hungary going to choose between Hunter and Warlock. So what could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Two least played
What could
classes
possibly be silly
in Hearthstone Global Games, and they've got to play one of them. Hungary, not just having fun with this, but winning. That's the point. Anyone can turn up with a load of garbage and play it, but to turn up with tuned memery, like I say, UK Paladin got to #1 legend.
Tuned memery.
Oskaka got second at Seat Story. You know, these decks are actual real decks. They're just not tier 1 accepted decks.